We've already exposed shotguns, pistols, and snipers. But there is one last batch of dirty little secrets that the devs try to bury from under us under the guise of some cryptic legendary effect. Now, we're not going to be leaving until we drag every single one of them into the light. What's good, everyone? It's Birts here, and today we're going to tackle the last remaining secrets from us within ARs and SMGs. If you've not caught up just yet, my last video is about snipers and pistols. The link is up on the tippy top right now. As always, I wait for you here. Now that we're all caught up and on the same page, we're gonna do exactly the same exceptionally well thought out, industry-leading, revolutionary review as before. We'll analyze what each of the creations of all the developers do, and we'll give them a grade that they can take home in their report cards. And today we're gonna start with the assault rifles, and more specifically every single potato lover's favorite, the potato tar with the spud gun. You can farm it from Rexis, who happens to make my top 5 worst bosses. You can peep that video later. And I'm afraid this one is gonna have to disappoint. The spuds are not big enough that you can tell that you're shooting them. I mean, okay, you can see kind of the shape, but they could be a lot bigger. So at the end of the day, all you have is a Torg AR. It does a reasonable amount of damage, but as a legendary, it is beyond disappointing, so we're gonna have to start with a D right off rip. Next up, we have a dream. Well, Aegon's dream to be exact. Now this one comes with a dual attached effect, the prophetic legendary effect. This dream is gatekept by Horus, who is not a particularly efficient keeper of this treasure, so you can swing by anytime to pick one up. Now firstly, every shot will alternate between the incendiary upper barrel and the Cairo under barrel. On top of that, if you switch to the under barrel, it will rotate 90 degrees clockwise, which will end up with a faster fire rate and a wind-up time. Now we all know that fire rate is king in the damage formula, or well, at least one of the kings in the damage formula, so that alone is worth it. But the alternating barrels gives it a very unique flavor of status effect application and general versatility. Freezing is dope, and half the mobs are flash. I don't see a lot of downsides from a design perspective that I can notice. Aegon, I assumed he named it after himself, will get an A. Even though it's a bit of an ego move to name the gun after yourself. Now, speaking of high egos, check out my Rafa build video. I'm pretty proud of that one, even if I do say so myself. To keep on the same train of thought, let's have a look at Chuck with the pitcher. Hidden in the treasure boxes of the Foundry Freaks, this one is near and dear to my heart as I made a Rafa build all around it. Now first, as you might assume that I am biased towards this gun, but actually I think this is fun, but a very vanilla effect. I'm sure that everyone that picks up this gun and shoots it will actually just chuckle, because, well, you just chuck the gun. There's also some hilarious similarities between Chuck and Truck, where Truck just hits like a truck, and Chuck just makes you chuck the gun. I enjoy that humor alone itself, but that being said, all you do is yeet. Now, as a side note, if you happen to find this one before you max out your SDU for the AR ammo, you'll be very disappointed and out of ammo very quickly, because it takes up 10 bullets every single time you throw it. And since A grade is reserved for the truly OP, this one will get a very respectable B. Next up on the chopping block, the bloody Lumberjack with timber. Or is the chopping block up next? Hey, puns. Well, I don't know either way. So this one is also dropped by the Foundry Freak, so you might actually get lucky and get Chuck and this at the same time. 2 birds, 1 stone. That's what we like. Now this one will fire saw blades that ricochet off of surfaces, and successful hits will apply a bleed status effect with a 3-sec interval. That means that every 3 seconds is going to do damage. Now mind you, this will only ricochet off of surfaces once. So realistically, the way to use this is to shoot the ground in front of the mob, and then you can still hit them with bam bam, geometry. So this one should be right up my alley as far as funky legendary goes, but I think they completely missed the mark. The saw blades are about this tiny, barely noticeable, so all you have, essentially, is a double D rifle that ricochets off of a surface once. This I kid you not, it upsets me because of all the missed potentials. The saw blades could have been massive, it could have sliced Reapers in half, so I will not give it any better than a C grade. This upset the teacher. And then there was Cold Shoulder with Iced Out. It's not donated to us, more like we're donating to Moxie's tip jar. And again, it is not the content creator legend, it's the favorite NPC of every hormonal teenage little boy. And I must admit, they really did nail the naming for this one. This subtle innuendo is delightfully executed. And the good and the bad, well, it's mainly good. It's always fixed cryo, that's superb. We love cryo up in my household. And it shoots little homing projectiles within your periphery of your aim. Essentially what happens is that if you aim down, you're gonna home in on the missiles where you're aiming on your reticles. If you don't aim down, you're just gonna see them fly all around because they will spot the enemies and they will fly towards it. That is insanely strong and very fun looking. It is pretty insane how strong splash damage is at the moment and how torque weapons are sitting pretty on top of their ivory tower right now. Now mind you, I am recording this just before the spooky patch hits, so this might age horribly or beautifully. Let me know in the comments how this ends up. Cold Shoulder is a very strong workhorse, and if this was a power ranking, it'd be definitely up there. But like this, we're gonna relegate it to a B+ grade. And this wraps up all the assault rifles, and hey, if you've been enjoying yourself so far, drop a like and a subscribe, because we have a couple of SMGs to go through as well. So let's quickly keep on rolling, and first up is Birts Bees with the Hivemind. This is gonna become farmable after completing the Null and Void quest, and then you get to Sludgemon, that's the one that drops it. And look, Hivemind will shoot out bees that will fly erratically before converging onto your aiming reticles and then randomly homing on nearby targets. This is freaking awesome. This is exactly what I want every single one of these legendaries that are hiding something to do. When you discover it, you're gonna be like, holy fucking hell, this is dope. I love everything about it. If you happen to farm a lionized version, this will shred your entire screen. Bert, the beekeeper, has cooked with this one, and it's going to be the first A+ across all of my videos within the Dirty Little Secret series. Hats off to you, my good sir. Now let's move on over to Hellfire with the Burning Desire. This Elvis-inspired, beautiful weapon drops some Sky Spanner crash. Now if you do end up having one, the Burning Desire will shoot at fiery explosive rounds that will deal incendiary splash damage. Not a lot to say here, unfortunately. It is a very strong weapon, but it is just that, right? It's an incendiary workhorse. It will do absolutely bonkers level of damage, and the explosions are very strong, but as far as legendaries go, you don't really notice anything, which is just rather sad. It's the opposite of Birts Bees, right? So I won't go as far as failing it, but I'll give it a D, or at the best I'm gonna give it is a D grade. It passes because it's a very strong gun, but it's just so meh. You know what I mean. And then we got Plasma Coil giving us superheated Melvin juice for our arsenal. This one is hard to miss, you gotta kill the timekeeper for it. And superheated will shoot at elemental plasma balls that will splash damage in an 8-round burst. Depending on what element you get, this might become very, very useful, but right now we're not really living in a meta where Malevolent guns are a must-have, unless you're running Vax, I guess, in that case it is. But it does have a special reload animation. It feels really nice to use. Unless you're shooting very far range, the projectiles and leading for them isn't really an issue. So it's just a nice gun to look at, and it's a nice gun to use. But as much as I personally enjoy this gun, I'm gonna have to give it a C for being nothing else but a solid gun. And the last one for today is Kaoson with Granted. This one comes from Origo the Walled Guardian himself. Now Granted is going to be giving you a guaranteed roll of sticky gyro jets that will detonate when you reload, or if you switch firing mode. On top of that, it has a pretty crazy fire rate, and it will always shoot 2 projectiles with 1 pull of the trigger. Now I've been thinking about how to approach this one because it is an incredibly strong weapon, but the legendary effect is nothing fancy. And I have to do right by the same structure that I've done for the previous guns, and I've knocked them down a notch because of the lack of creativity. I'll do the same here. It will receive a B grade, but you can be sure that I probably have one nearby because it is very strong. And that wraps up all what should have been the last episode of Dirty Little Secrets for now. But then I realized something. I have been so preoccupied with guns that I forgot to look in my pockets. Turns out ordinances have their own little dirty secrets, so stay tuned for a bonus episode dropping soon. You're not gonna believe what those grenades can really do. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.